to the Crewcast, the Crew's live podcast about video games and all things Crew. Join us and many of your favorite crew members as we review games, talk about the new Crew series, answer your questions, and much more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of the Crewcast.
Welcome to Crewcast number 2 on the 27th of April 2013. Today we are joined by Belboz and Danny and Gizmo and Kama and myself. And we're going straight into the gaming news.
All right. Our first news segment, gaming-wise. Minecraft 1.6 Snapshot was released Thursday the 25th, along with a 1.52 pre-release. So, what do you guys think about, let's talk first about the Snapshot of 1.6.
Is that the bit with the hardened clay blocks?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Any new blocks I like. I like how they're going to use clay more. That's a good thing. I don't know, there's the two things underneath, like, they've made deserts more deserty and zombies more sociable. Do you guys know what that means? Like, how have they done that?
Probably the zombies are going to hang out together. I mean, they're going to stay in groups.
That'd be cool, yeah.
Like zombie horde type things.
Yeah, I mean, so that could be interesting, especially if they do group together, and you're playing on hard difficulty. You're going to have a whole bunch of them coming at you possibly faster than if they're just randomly walking around like they do now.
They already made skeletons harder. Do they have to make zombies harder too?
Zombies are fairly easy to kill.
I know, that's why I like them.
Now, as for the deserts, maybe they're going to get rid of water or make water very rare.
Oh, yeah.
That I like.
Because it's not really a desert. There's so much water in deserts. So I don't know. I haven't even looked at this one. Now, what I find interesting, and I don't know if you guys followed it, we got the clay block, but originally Dinnerbone was tweeting about giving us dyed wood. And he showed a picture like all the different wood dyed in different colors. But I guess there was, for some reason, so much backlash about it that they took it out, and they said, forget the wood, and we got the clay block.
Backlash?
Why?
What backlash?
I can kind
That
of
would be amazing.
see that. I can kind of see that because, like, wood, we've got the different shades of wood, and that is in itself quite realistic. But having, like, pink wood and purple wood, I don't know, it just doesn't go right, really. Yeah,
Maybe
purple wool for carpet, that kind of thing, yeah, but...
Yeah, but it's Minecraft. Creepers, like green things with legs walking around. It's not really 100% realistic, is it?
No, not 100%, but...
Well, hopefully they bring this back, because I was really excited when I saw that. Because it adds a whole new colour scheme to things.
You'd make a pink wooden house, would you, Giz?
Kame House? Dragon Ball Z?
Don't know, Dragon Ball Z?
Well, he has a pink house. He lives on an island and he has a pink house.
A pink
With a
wooden
red
house.
roof.
Yes, a pink wooden house with a red roof.
I look at it two different ways. Anytime there's a new block, it's great.
Yeah.
But you don't really dye wood. It is kind of a different... wool, it's dyed. You get different colored clothes made from wool. Different, that one makes more sense. Wood being dyed, it probably doesn't make a lot of sense. But still, maybe they could... what I think would be more interesting is if wood, like, aged or whatever, maybe it started to fade or something. The longer you have something built, maybe the wood actually starts, because of all the rain, all the snow, maybe the wood actually starts to lose some of its integrity.
Yeah.
You can paint wood though, can't you? And that's realistic in a sense.
Maybe
I don't
they
know
should
why.
have paint.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And having the blocks be dyed, but like painted rather than dyed.
And the paintbrush.
That'd be cool.
New item, paintbrush.
Jab.
Well, and then it really is something that should only be done, I think, if it's paint. I mean, I don't mind it if they would have added it. It wouldn't have been that big a deal because it just gives you more blocks. But I can see people maybe not liking the idea. But it sounds like more people liked it than disliked it. But I'm just assuming that enough disliked it that they just decided forget it. And maybe because there's also multiple types of wood, maybe it was just too many variations that they wanted to put in.
Mm.
So, not a lot of, big ticket items here. I mean, just really one new block. So, we weren't really going to worry too much about doing a video showing this one. But let's talk about the 1.52 pre-release.
That's basically just bug fixes, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, they fixed jukebox audio, some anvil issues in multiplayer. Tamed wolves and cats were despawning, now they won't. Endermen were rendered hostile if they take environmental damage. So that sounds like they fixed that. So, I mean, really not a lot of items that are really exciting, but it's fixes. The biggest thing they announced also, or at least to me out of all the stuff, the biggest thing is that the new updater or the new launcher is going to let you go back to all the old versions of Minecraft.
Awesome.
I love.
Now,
That'd be cool.
I would expect this is only going to be released versions, not like snapshots or anything like that.
Yeah.
It would kind of get crazy. The negative to this is I think they should make it less easy to switch, because how many times are we going to have people send us messages saying they can't log on the server, says they have an outdated client, and they don't realize they clicked on a client up there. So it's very easy to change in the current launcher, but I could see this being a very high level of confusion. I've gotten, I don't know how many messages from our server on Chaos where people have asked me to unmute them. And a couple of them have got actually upset, saying that I've got them muted. Please unmute them. And then I look in the logs, and it's like none of us have done anything to affect them. And then it's like what it is they went into the options where you can set text chat, and they've turned it to like commands only or something. You can't type in game, so it's actually their fault.
Oh dear.
So, and that one's kind of a hidden thing. They probably forgot they even did it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, I'm happy with the updates. I still want the mod API. Come on, mod API. I mean, just look at what people are doing right now. Like, what's their name? Hypixel, the group. They're doing amazing stuff with the built-in features of Minecraft's vanilla server. But if you open it up so it's so easy to modify the server, people like Hypixel, they can make any changes they want. And then it's going to work on the next version without any major changes. I mean, it would just make the mods would be so amazing, having everything open to them. I have not heard them talk about the API at all in any recent talk. So I don't know if they've given up on it or if it's just going to be a 2.0 feature.
Since Minecon, that's the last I heard about it.
I mean, that was originally, I thought, the reason they brought in a bunch of the bucket guys. But, hopefully it's being worked on and they're just keeping quiet and it's just going to surprise us all. But I'm starting to get worried. All right, so let's move on. Our next news segment is the Xbox is going to be revealed on the 21st, the next one. And what is it going to be? There were some hints on Reddit. I don't know if it was some people trolling that it was going to be called the Xbox Infinity. And, of course, a lot of people call it the Xbox 720. Danny, what were you saying you heard it was going to be called?
Durango.
Yeah, that just sounds like a horrible name.
Infinity's quite a strong, powerful name. Durango makes absolutely no sense. I mean, what is Durango?
Well, Infinity would be really good if it is always on. That would be kind of funny play. And this Infinity may be just a joke, and maybe they're making a joke because it might be always on, which I don't think it will be. But May 21st, we'll find out. But you guys have any thoughts at all on the next Xbox, or are you starting to sway more towards liking the PS4?
I'm gonna wait until they release specs and what's gonna happen with the Xbox to have an opinion on both PS4 and new Xbox. I'm gonna have my faith in Microsoft for now with the console.
Well, Danny can't leave Xbox if it's the only way he can play Halo.
Next gen Halo.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I prefer the 360 over the PS3, but I like the PS3 also because you don't have to pay a monthly fee just to be able to watch Netflix
Yes.
or to play live and be able to talk with your friends. I think, especially too when I pay for a Xbox Live Gold account, I have to see advertisements still on the Xbox. And I think, hey,
Really?
I'm paying. I shouldn't have to see these advertisements. Or if I watch advertisements, I shouldn't have to pay. Microsoft can get away with it, but I think, that's the biggest selling point for the PS3 for me is I don't have to pay unless I want to be a Plus member. And if you are a Plus member on the PS3, you get a lot of free games. I mean, some good games. I mean, they've got the Ratchet and Clank, the latest one is free. You can play like almost all of the old PlayStation 1 games like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro. Those things come up every like a week or so. I think every Tuesday they put up new free stuff. So there's a lot of, you get free games. So at least there's something out of that. You really don't get anything with Xbox Live. You pay just to be able to play online. If I want to watch Netflix on the PS3, I can just install the PS3's Netflix app and I'm able to watch Netflix. If I want to do it on an Xbox, I have to buy Xbox Live just in order to use Netflix. So I think that kind of sucks, but I still like the Xbox better because the PS3's interface is horrible. But I
But
think
you had me sold on the PS3 by just saying I could play Spyro on there.
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot.
well, I have a PS3 and I have an Xbox 360. Love them both. I would hands down say the PS3 is better if they could get a better user interface. The main
Yeah.
interface of the PS3, I just think is just a mess. The Xbox is much simpler to navigate. It looks nicer. I'm just not a big fan of being forced to pay just to be able to
Yeah.
use Netflix. Especially because there are people out there who don't want to play a lot of online games or any online games. Maybe they only care about being able to play games local and watch Netflix. Well, you have to subscribe still. Even if you're not going to use Xbox Live for anything else, you still have to pay. But what I think's interesting, though, about the PS4 is Sony is really pushing really hard right now to get indie developers on their side. They're giving indie developers development kits that cost quite a bit of money if you want to become a developer. They're giving them to indie developers and saying, hey, when your game is released, if this development kit costs $5,000, I think it's like more than that, but let's just use the number 5,000. If it costs $5,000, once your game has made $5,000, then you start making money. They take the first $5,000 to pay for the development kit, and then after that, the developer gets everything. And they're telling them,
Ah.
hey, it's very easy to take your game and put it on the PS Vita, which is their little handheld. So, you're giving developers a free kit, very reasonable percentage that Sony takes from the developer on each sale. And you can also, if your game's feasible to play on a Vita, port it to the Vita, and there's another selling point for you. You got people buying it for the PS4, you got people buying it for the Vita.
That's really good.
So they're being very smart trying to grab onto these indie developers. And a lot of the indie developers are talking about how poorly their relationship with Microsoft has been. That it's just been a real hassle for them to deal with Microsoft and get their games released. So Sony's doing some smart stuff right now. But it'll be very interesting to see what Microsoft comes back with here on the 21st.
Yeah, with the new Xbox and PS4, I think I might buy one of them, depending on the games that are on it. I mean, for me, it doesn't matter if it's online or not, but for me, it's about the games themselves. That's why I personally, without taking the old games from the PS1, PS2, Xbox is my favorite. There are some really good games on it. Don't remember some right now. Prototype 2. I think it was on PlayStation 3 as well, right?
I mean, there's definitely some exclusives. Microsoft has Halo. Microsoft has Gears of War. Sony has The Last of Us, Uncharted. There's more, but I mean, they both have titles that you wish you could play on the other one if you only have the one.
Yeah, I've played on
Uncharted.
both, so. But I think for me, Xbox 360 was better, so we'll see what the next Xbox and PlayStation will have.
Haven't you got a PS2?
I don't own any of those two. Neither Xbox 360 or PS3. I only play at a friend's house.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move on now to our last gaming news segment. And that is that Nintendo has announced that they will not do a press conference at E3 this year.
Ooh.
Now, they said what they're going to try to do, they're planning several smaller events focusing on software for America. And then among these hands-on events will be one of their American distributors and another for Western media. So it looks like they're, I don't know how they're spinning this. It seems like they're probably scaling back just because they don't have a lot of big things they can really announce. I mean, they've already announced the Wii U. It's selling, but it's not like selling like mad. Pretty much all they could introduce would be either Wii U games or maybe if there was some other like Wii U hardware devices, the exercise pad thing that they had for the Wii. So I think it's because they don't really have a lot to show except for game titles. And you can pretty much do that out on the floor. So maybe they just don't have a lot of big announcements when it comes to exclusive games.
You'd have thought they'd save up all their announcements though for something big like this.
Partly, too, I think that maybe this is a sign that E3 is dying. Because E3 really is supposed to be just for people in the industry. I went to E3 many, many years ago. And when you go there, and when you go there even now, it's still mainly fans. And that's not really what the show's about. And I think what's happening is with the internet and social media and just the wealth of information you can get, it's much better to target that for your announcements or shows like PAX, which are for the gamers. And it's more reasonable in price for these companies to come to. And you actually interact with the fans more. So I just think this is a sign that E3 itself is maybe its days are numbered.
A lot of stuff at E3 gets leaked. We do like the press conferences and stuff. Like Halo 4 got leaked half an hour before Microsoft was supposed to go up on stage.
Well, half an hour. That's not.
Still.
Yeah, I don't think that would sway anybody. With Nintendo, I think it's probably just more they don't have enough to show to have because when anyone does a press conference, inevitably the next thing is all of the gaming sites, all the bloggers, everybody are just either saying it was the greatest or they're attacking it. I think Nintendo probably doesn't have enough stuff to show, and they know that they're going to get slaughtered by the media and the bloggers because they're going to be like, what do they've got? They've got a few Mario games, this and that. While those are great, pretty lackluster performance. Any other thoughts on the Nintendo press conference? All right. Well, let's move in now to crew news. All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about, and we're going to probably be talking about this in all of our podcasts until we actually do it, is don't forget we're doing the 24-hour live stream for Child's Play charity.
Woo!
May 10th, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's GMT -5. I'll have a link in the description of this video on YouTube, and if you're watching it through a podcast software, you should be able to look at the notes in there also. But the link will take you to a countdown timer that shows exactly how much time is left. So it doesn't matter what time zone you're in. When that counter says that there's 0 seconds left and it's over, the countdown stopped, that means we're getting ready to start. So we do this because we have so many people in so many different time zones who are really confused. but we're going to stream for 24 hours straight, and we're going to play lots of different games. We're going to try to do some new things, do some things to get you guys involved in. We'll probably talk about some of that maybe in a little bit later with one of the other questions. But it should be a lot of fun, and we're hoping to raise a whole bunch of money for Child's Play.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this.
Same.
Yeah.
Like, the last time was, I remember it, like, I forget what happened at 6 a.m. Like, the rest of the night was a blank, but I remember that it was just so good, and we had a really good time. And I think the fans enjoyed watching us be absolutely tired on our brains, but still having fun, and it's a great night. It's going to be brilliant, I think. And for a great cause as well this time.
All right, so lastly, in crew news, we got a lot of stuff going on right now, but we don't want to talk about some new things until it's time to release it. So the last thing I want to mention is I do have an RSS feed set up for the podcast. So if you want to subscribe with iTunes, or if you got like a program like I do on my Android phone called Dog Catcher, basically any software that lets you watch or listen to podcasts, you can basically go ahead right now, and in the description of this video or in the description that's in the podcast itself, you'll find a link to our feed. It's basically www.hillsoftware.com/rss.xml. If you put that into iTunes right now, there's an option, I think it's under the advanced menu, that says subscribe to podcast. You click that, and then you paste in that URL that I just mentioned, or that you copied from the show notes, and it'll subscribe you to our podcast, and anytime a new one comes out, depending on how you have your software set, it'll automatically download. Now, I am going to submit this to iTunes to get listed in their catalog. When you go browsing through, all the different podcasts that they have to offer. But it takes time for them to approve it. I'm going to probably submit it after we've got about 3 episodes done, and then it may take a month or 2. But you can subscribe now with iTunes, and you can subscribe now with whatever your favorite podcast app is. If you prefer watching it on YouTube, that's fine too. For right now, we're going to only stick with the podcast for iTunes and other devices being audio only. We might do a video version eventually, but for now we're going to just stick with audio. If we do a video podcast feed, I'll make it a separate feed for it so that you can subscribe to the audio or you can subscribe to the video. But for now, just audio. If you want the video version, watch it on YouTube. Okay, so that's all the news we have right now for crew news. So our next segment is something we haven't done yet, which is what TV shows are we watching? So I've told everybody they can pick 3 shows and mention them. But we're not going to get into great details trying to describe the plots to these things or give out spoilers that'll make you upset. Mm-hmm. So we're really just going to kind of mention the shows we're doing. And I'm going to go first since I'm first on our document here. 3 shows I'm watching. Justified, which just ended its season. Game of Thrones, which has just came back for the last half of its season. And The Walking Dead, which has finished its season also. So, kind of a variety of shows, but I watch a few other shows, but those are my 3 favorite shows to watch right now. So, next up is Piper.
I've been watching Game of Thrones as well, which I think most of us have. Also, I've been on a Star Trek binge, and I'm currently finishing Sniff Sniff TNG Next Generation, which I've found really, really good. Probably almost my favorite series in Star Trek. I've also found this little show called Switched at Birth, which I just got hooked on, and not because of the storyline, because the storyline's 2 kids were switched at birth, which is, had that been there, done that. Use sign language, one of the kids is deaf, and I just find it fascinating. So yeah, it's a really good feel-good show, and yeah, very educational too.
All right.
What about you, Giz?
I have been watching, drum roll please, obviously Doctor Who, and you guys need to watch Doctor Who, seriously, just do it. It's 50th anniversary this year, it's amazing. 50 years of this show. Wow. Game of Thrones as well, obviously. Piper likes to say I'm obsessed with Game of Thrones, but I don't care. Bend the Knee.
It's not a bad thing.
Will be destroyed. And also, I thought I'd add a new show. I've been watching Once Upon a Time. It's in its second
Ooh.
season at the moment. Almost ending, I think, soon. It's a really good show, based on storybook characters, but in the real world, and I suggest you guys watch it. It's really good.
All right, Danny.
I've been currently watching Whose Line Is It Anyway for purposes of video. I've also been watching Walking Dead. I'm almost caught up on The Walking Dead. I've got like one episode left. And I've also been rewatching Scrubs because I love Scrubs. And who doesn't love Scrubs?
It's not like I dislike
That's
it,
what
I
I've been
just have
watching.
never watched it.
Yeah, I've never watched it. I'm not a big fan of medical shows, even a comedy.
Even Grey's
So good.
Anatomy?
No, I
Oh,
haven't watched any of those shows.
McLovin, whatever his name is.
McDreamy!
McSteamy! McSteamy's the best one.
Yeah.
All right, Kama, what are you watching?
I'm currently watching Doctor Who as well, Giz. Same episode, I guess, Giz.
Yeah.
The newest one, yeah. Then I've been trying to catch up on The Walking Dead, which I watched the first season of, so I have to catch up quite a bit. But instead of catching up the series, I'm watching the old ones, which I saw like 5-6 times already. For example, Scrubs. Yeah, have been watching the first 3 seasons now. And I've already watched it like 8 times, so yeah.
Didn't you
Bit
say you
obsessed.
watched it in Spanish as well or something?
I watched it in German, in Spanish, and in English, yes.
What?
Why Spanish? You don't speak Spanish.
Because by the time I watched it for the 7th time, I knew what they were gonna say in every language, so I might as well watch it in Spanish.
I'm gonna watch Game of
That's
Thrones in
crazy.
like Swahili or something.
Oh! Downton Abbey.
Oh god.
Oh, I watched
I
Downton
don't.
Abbey.
Mum watches that. I don't watch it.
It's good.
All right, well, that was kind of an interesting segue there. I mean,
Sorry.
that show's over, isn't it? Downtown Abbey, didn't they finally like wrap it?
No, it's coming
Oh.
For
back.
this season, yes, it'll be back.
Okay, I've never watched it. It sounds like just from what I've seen, it sounds like something that I wouldn't watch.
Oh, you get swept up in like the whole romance of it
No,
and just
no, I won't.
no.
What's
Okay.
watching romance?
I'm
Oh
married.
my god! Yeah, but you can still
I
get
live the
swept
life
up
of
in
romance.
it.
I don't need it on a TV show. Oh, and
Everybody
also,
needs a little bit of romance on TV.
just a mention: Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, Justified. I think that's it. Those 3 shows definitely. If you're younger, check with your parents before you watch them, because there's quite a bit of language, nudity in Game of Thrones, language on Justified, Walking Dead, a little bit of language, mainly, but just bloody zombie killing human death. So if you're young, check with your parents before you watch these shows. Star Trek shouldn't be a problem. Doctor Who has a few moments where it might be a little scary for young kids, but I think for the most part it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's definitely a family show.
Once Upon a Time shouldn't be any issue. It's kind of geared as a family show. So Scrubs, I don't really know anything about it.
Child friendly, pretty much.
But that's just the thing. And if you guys want in the comments for this on YouTube, post what shows you like, or tell us why shows that we like suck.
Yeah, tell us, recommend shows to us that we might not have seen before.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our segment called Deals of the Week. Now, last week we had just one deal. This week I have 3. And they're not always going to be Steam deals, but I like Steam so much, it's easy to find deals on Steam. But you may see some that are GOG eventually, Amazon. But I want to try to make sure the deals are worldwide. Sometimes the Amazon stuff might be focused on like US only or UK only. So I want to try to find stuff that appeals. The deal is good, but it is open to all people. So the first one is Forge, is 75% off. So it's basically here in the States $5. And you can buy a 4-pack for $15. So you actually save $5. Now, Forge is an online, class-based multiplayer shooter in a fantasy universe. So it has MMO and first-person shooter. It's got classes and combat based off what classes you pick. It's obviously multiplayer, as I've just said. A lot of people have talked about it and said that it's a really fun game to play. I don't know if any of you guys have looked at this or played it. Just also, you can play it right now this weekend that this podcast aired until Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific. So that would be 4 p.m. East Coast, and that would be 9 p.m. in the UK, 10 p.m. in Germany. So you can play it now and install it and see if you like it. And if you do, and you got $5, you can buy it.
It's pretty cool.
I watched the trailer, yeah. Looks RPG-ish kind of, because of the classes maybe. Might look into it.
Yeah, it looked interesting. I'd had it kind of on a wish list. I use my wish list more for this is something I want to look at again. Some of the games on my wish list, are games that I will probably get, but sometimes I just use it as I want to remember to go back and look at this in more detail. Another big deal going on right now, and Piper should like this. Yes. Rockstar, their titles are anywhere from 50 to 75% off. So that gives you a chance to get games like L.A. Noire, the Grand Theft Auto series, the Max Payne series. There's other ones, but those are probably some of the bigger ones. But the deals on them can be anywhere from 50 to 75%, and that goes through the weekend also.
Yep. I've added L.A. Noire to my wish list in hopes that I will go back to it later and buy it. I didn't even realize it was on PC. That's news to me.
It's been around for a while. It is.
I know.
And the last one, and I don't know how many people have played it crew-wise. If everybody hasn't gathered it from coming on our live stream or just in general, I'm not a very big strategy game fan.
You're not?
Don't like them. But I do love tower defense. And Defense Grid: The Awakening is on sale right now. It's $2.50, so it's dirt cheap. And that's through the weekend also. But Defense Grid: The Awakening is a tower defense game. Basically it's set kind of in an alien world where it's your job to stop the attacking aliens from destroying basically these bases or settlements. So you can put towers down that do different things: laser tower, gun towers, shields, generators, lots of different things. I really enjoy it. And just as another note here, the Digital Path, I'm not sure if they're the guys that make it, so I may got that wrong. But whoever makes this game just announced Defense Grid number 2 coming out, and it's going to be multiplayer.
Ooh.
So you'll definitely see me wanting to play that, and it also depends on what kind of crew enjoyed the first one. But I will definitely want to try to do some videos of number 2 when it comes out, because we can do it multiplayer.
Awesome.
So I don't know if any of you guys have played Defense Grid: The Awakening.
I bought it ages ago. I think you recommended it ages ago to me, so I bought it. I never played it. I never had time. I just forgot about it. I got it in my library.
No, unfortunately, I don't have it.
I don't have it either.
I need to buy it. Looks good.
Yeah, it's a really good game. So that one's probably the cheapest of all the deals right now. But if you like tower defense games, it's definitely one to look into. And then you can get prepared now for when number 2 comes out. All right, our last segment is your guys' questions. Now, we hope you guys will send in questions that are like a video or an MP3 or WAV file and audio, because we want that because we can put you in the podcast so people can see you or hear you. You don't have to do it like your actual face, with a webcam. You could do it inside Minecraft with your character and just record your voice and send it to us. You can be creative, whatever you like. Today we only have submissions that are text questions, but we're going to use some of them. All right, so first question is from Jessica, and she wants to know, how did each of you start playing Minecraft? Did a friend tell you? Did you discover it yourself, or some other way? So let's just kind of run through that. Piper?
Desil told me when I got back from holiday in October 2010, he was like, there might be a game you might like. So I played it, I bought it, and I've not looked back.
Okay, Giz.
Well, the windows were being done downstairs next to the computer.
It's gonna be a long story, isn't it?
bear with me. So I was on like YouTube going, I'm going to look at some videos. And so when the builders kept walking by, I thought about building things. So I looked up a video thing and I saw Minecraft. I was like, "Ooh, what's Minecraft?" So I started watching this. I don't know what I'm doing. I started watching a Let's Play series of X23, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And so I bought the game, and then ever since then, I have been hooked.
Okay. Danny?
I actually found out about it because of the Yogscast. I saw the Yogscast play it, and I wanted to play it, so I bought it as soon as I had enough money, and I haven't looked back since.
And Kama.
My father told me about it, saying it's a crappy game, and since I mostly do not agree with my father, I looked into it, and the first time I saw Minecraft wasn't Yogscast. Was a German Let's Player, yeah. And I liked it, then I bought it, and as Piper, never let go of it.
Now, for me, it was Reddit. I had seen some posts, when the early versions were just starting, and people were talking about it. I checked out the online thing and thought, that's kind of cool. Lizzie might like this. So, I watched a few videos about it and bought a copy for myself because I ended up liking it. And then when Lizzie saw it, I knew she'd like it. So I bought a copy for her. But it was really Reddit that led me to it. And, we're all still playing it. And it led to us forming the crew and having what we have right now. So,
yeah.
Minecraft will always have a special place in my heart, even if it dies out, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, whatever.
Definitely. How did Abby and Paige get into Minecraft? Was it Lizzie recommending it to them?
Seeing Lizzie play it.
Ah.
Yeah, for a while before both of them had it, whenever they come over here to play, it would always be sitting at Lizzie's computer with her. They try to cram into the chair. Lizzie would show them how to do stuff, and then, they'd all be jockeying for my turn, and then eventually they, forced their parents into buying it for them, and then, then the rest is history. Every other kid in the neighborhood has like saw one of the other kids playing it, and it's just been a snowball effect. All right, our next question is from Alice, and Alice asks, will the crew ever come together and meet in real life? So, obviously, I have met Wolf when he was in the crew, and that was probably 6 months ago, maybe. I'm just guessing. So I did meet him. And I think, Piper, you've met somebody, haven't you?
I've met somebody as well. It turns out that me and Alicia live like the next long from each other, and we've met quite a few times. We've had hot chocolate together. We've gone into a bigger city and we had lunch together and went shopping together. So, yeah, we've met. Yeah, she's lovely, and we do post photos whenever we meet on Instagram and Twitter. So, yeah.
And if I remember right now, that's the only two sets of people who have met. There's been nothing else, has there?
I believe that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
But hopefully, in the future.
Well, I mean, we're definitely hoping that if Minecon happens, which it sounds like it will, and it sounds like it's going to happen here in the U.S. unless Lydia, Minecraft chick, changes that. We're hoping that some of the crew, and it won't be all of the crew, and who knows, it may only be a few crew, because some of the crew are working, and it's really hard to just get time off, especially if it's last minute or if you just started a job. It's tough to get away. But we're hoping, if it's in the U.S., more than likely I'll be there with Lizzie. Miss Belboz will be there with us. But we're hoping to have some type of presence there. And hopefully we can talk with Lydia and find out maybe about having an area where we can sit in the main show floor, or whatever you want to call it. And that way you guys can come by and say hi if you want to and chat with us. So, but we'll have to wait and see. No, nothing's been really announced. But if that doesn't happen, if Minecon, they decide they're going to have it in Antarctica, and none of us go, or for whatever reasons we can't make it, we're going to at some point try to get the crew together, maybe bring them here to Ohio. And if we do that, I could see there's going to be a lot of video footage that I'll film probably with my camera showing the crew and getting their taste of America and all the different things. But
that'd be awesome.
And even at Minecon, we'll probably do some footage there. We'll probably do some gaming there, maybe link up laptops on a quick network or something. So there'll be some video footage from that if it happens. So we're hoping Minecon gets some of the crew together. If not, we're going to try some other things. And of course, you guys are going to get to see some videos, and you'll get to see all of the faces. We have had people who said they don't want to see our faces. They prefer not to know. They think that's more exciting. And sometimes your impression of the person changes when you see them.
Yeah.
And some people, that upsets them.
I can see that, yeah.
I think that's a bit extreme if people think like that. We are human,
I posted my photo on the Facebook
at the end of the
stuff.
day. We are people.
What? No, you're Doctor Who. You're not a human being.
It's the Doctor! I'm Doctor Who!
You're the Doctor.
No, I'm
Sorry.
Gizmo.
So yes, you will get to see us come together in real life, and you will get to see some footage from it. Hopefully it'll be Minecon. Hopefully we'll get to see some of you guys and chat, because if anything, that's one of the best things is just hearing all the comments from you guys that you like what we do, suggestions for things we should do, and just chatting. So hopefully this year, Minecon, don't know where it's going to be, but hopefully it happens.
Zimbabwe.
Yep.
Gonna prepare bandages for that.
All right, our next question comes from a Kirsten M. And I'm assuming this is a she. If I'm wrong, I apologize. What kind of games will you be playing for the 24-hour live stream? Will you have open Minecraft servers? Now, what's funny here is I'm going to say some suggestions that I have in this podcast, and I've not even talked with the crew about this.
Ooh.
So, I mean, for the 24-hour live stream, we're definitely going to be doing Minecraft. We're going to definitely probably do something Terraria-wise. DayZ or Arma in some fashion will happen at some point. But we are going to try to have some things for you guys to do with us. We're probably going to try Minecraft on the Xbox. I forget what how many limit is there on players for that?
8 players in multiplayer.
So
club.
So if there's 3 or 4 of the crew playing, we might be able to have 3 or 4 fans playing. How we choose them, I'm not sure. We'll have to figure that out. Terraria, we might do that on the Xbox also. So there'll be some chances for those. But those, we don't want to do too much Xbox stuff because the numbers are so limited. But what I think we'll probably do is I'll probably run a Terraria server for the length of the event. So for 24 hours. And basically you guys can just go on that and play with other fans. We'll come on it maybe during the Terraria phase, but I'll leave it running so people can mess around and have fun. As for Minecraft, a thought I had, and this will be the first the crew have heard about it. Tell me what you guys think about this. One thing I was thinking about is running a server that is creative, and you have to use the plugin to claim land. We announce a theme and let people come on, claim a diamond mat, and build for kind of like a 24-hour build contest.
Ooh, that sounds really good.
Gonna give them enough time.
So the reason I mentioned the shovel thing is I have to have some way of you guys protecting your plot, because I guarantee you somebody's going to come around and pour lava or blow up your stuff if we don't have protections. So the only thing I could see holding us from not doing that would be as if the 1.52 comes out and everybody's running 1.52, but Bucket doesn't work with it, and we can't have plugins. If we can't have plugins, I don't think there's any way I can prevent that. So I'm thinking one thing being a creative world running where you have a theme and you can build. And if you're not interested in doing the theme build, you can pick a mat and just build something that you want to. But leave that running for the whole stream, and then maybe we'll do a video after the live stream's over showing all the builds. Probably wouldn't take it to vote because there's going to probably be too many creations, and everybody will probably put their names on things, so it might make it tough to do a contest. But I think it would just be fun to showcase stuff people have done and be able to say this was built by blah, and here it is.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, another server I'm thought about setting up, and this one isn't. I think we've talked about this. Is maybe having a server up that has the fight plugin. It has Death Cube. It has Spleef. Some of those games that we have played before that are kind of self-running, and you guys could then go in and just randomly play on those. We might go in at one point and do it while we're streaming, but leave it running also for people to go. The only other thing I could think of doing if we ran a server would be to put up like a vanilla type server, or at least a server with generic plugins, and just let people explore and build and survive.
Yeah.
But nothing's set in stone. We'll probably try to have more detail on what we're going to do probably the week of the event, so that people can maybe plan. We'll have rough guesses on times, but we're not going to do like we did last 24 hour where we're like, this is an hour and that's it. This is an hour and a half or 2 hours and that's it. If we're playing something and we're having a lot of fun and everybody's enjoying it, we may go longer. We may stop earlier if we're not having as much fun or it's just not working as well.
A pipe is asleep.
Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And like I said, we're going to try to do some various things. So you'll probably see 2 or 3 Minecraft servers running throughout the 24 hours, and you'll see maybe Terraria running throughout it, and who knows what else we'll do. But we're going to try to get you guys involved somewhat, but just remember we can't get everybody involved. And typically, if we're going to let you play, we want to make sure that you actually have a microphone and it doesn't have a lot of noise or interference, because that will just ruin the live stream for others.
Definitely.
So if you don't know how to set your microphones or test it, practice on that before the event, because you have to have good quality if you're going to be able to talk during the live stream. All right, our last question, and I had a ton of questions about this subject. This is by Chad, who calls himself XXX to Blob XXX. Nice name. If you were to make a 4th season of The Mole, could you make it so the fans make the challenges, send them to Belboz, and have the crew play? That's an interesting idea, Chad. Probably no.
No.
Will there be a 4th season of The Mole? Yes. Everybody's
Yes.
asked that question. There will be. We're always going to do The Mole, probably once a year at this point, just because it's so much work. And we have other stuff we're going to do that is mole-ish that you're going to like. But we'll definitely do another Mole. We'll definitely have open, enrollment for it, and we'll probably interview some people like we did for this previous season. But the problem with having fans build challenges is, one, the Mole's my baby. I love the Mole. It's my favorite thing. And challenges got to be perfect to be in the Mole. And we have trouble doing that. Sometimes challenges fail once we try to execute them. So to get people to send us challenges, I'm so picky, and I'm going to be even more picky in season 4. It's just too much to ask, because when we build challenges together, when Danny, Piper, Giz, myself worked on it the last season, some things just didn't work right, or we some things go wrong. It's really hard to do. So we'll make it much easier if fans submitted all of our challenges, but practically it just doesn't work.
It wouldn't have the same feel to it either, because I think people build differently, and I don't know where I'm going with this really, but it would just be odd. I think it won't flow as well.
Yeah. So, definitely going to be a season 4. When that's going to take hold, I'm not positive. I would say we're probably looking at end of the year, to start thinking about it. So, we may start casting in late fall, and then iron it out, and maybe start the beginning of the year, maybe near the end of the year with Christmas time off. Try to start. It's hard to say, but I'd say if it happens this year, it'll happen at the very end of the year,
Yeah.
or at least casting and then filming in the beginning. All right, well, guys, that is it for episode 2 of the Crewcast. So, if you guys have any final thoughts or anything you want to say before we head out, here's your chance.
Belboz is lovely.
I'm sorry I can't speak English today.
That's okay, I forgive you.
All right, well, if you guys want to say goodbye, we will head out.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching the Crewcast. We hope you tune in again next time. Compass.